Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just one dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Folks, get your garden on this year with Homestead Feed and Supply. Make your dirt great again. We got starter trays, soils, soil amendments, bulk seeds. Homestead Feed and Supply. New Carlisle. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
Upgrade to a new quality bath remodel in less time with minimal inconvenience and for less money with Bath Creations in as little as 2 days. We do it right. There are a lot of others boasting about bath remodels these days. Well, Bath Creations' expert craftsmanship and customer service speaks for itself. Plus, all first responders, veterans, and active military will save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit our beautiful showroom at 8741 North Kimball Road in Clayton or at mybathcreations.com and upgrade your new bath today.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, this is Shannon Crabtree from Mike Foley's Clerk of Court's office, warning buyers beware when purchasing a vehicle from a private party. It's important to take proactive steps to protect yourself. The Montgomery County Clerk of Courts offers 5 convenient auto title locations where you can safely initiate or complete a title transfer in a safe and controlled environment. The Clerk of Courts offers 5 convenient auto title locations where you can safely initiate or complete a title transfer in a safe and controlled environment. For a full list of locations and hours, please visit mcclerkofcourts.org. For more information, 480.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
Exactly, Stephen A. He's been here for 10 years, and we're still trying to figure him out. The Justin Kenner Show, weekdays at 3 p.m., right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. You want hot takes?
No, I'm not going to apologize to Ryan Day. Everything we said about Ryan Day up until the playoffs was true.
Not bad. Come on, Kenner. You can do better than that.
To be fair, of all the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, Joe Burrow is the least accomplished.
Getting better.
1,000,000%. I 1,000,000% believe that the Dayton Flyers are afraid of the Wright State Raiders. That's why they come up with every excuse in the book not to play them.
There it is. The hottest take of them all. It's the Justin Kenner Show, presented by Frickers, live on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Well, 24 hours ago, we were all questioning what would the Reds do at the deadline. 24 hours later, we have that answer, and people don't like that answer. People are upset with the Cincinnati Reds, which I think was going to happen no matter what. But we got a lot to dive into here today. We got our Buckeye Camp report coming up with Paul Keels here at the top of hour number 2. So that'll be coming up here around the corner. We're, of course, going to open up with instant reaction to the Reds' activity at the trade deadline. And I say activity, kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit. Talk about Bengals, Browns, camp updates as well. We got a lot to get into here today on a Tuesday. Again, it's the Justin Kinner Show. We are brought to you by our friends over at Frickers. Frickers, your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. A couple ways to interact with the show. We're on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. We are on the Justin Kinner Show YouTube channel. You can also text the show, 937-518-1410. 937-518-1410. That is the number that you can text or call to jump in on the conversation. Right off the bat, Shaw throws out the question, are the Reds the worst franchise in the state of Ohio? I think that look, Ohio does provide a lot of professional teams to make you debate that. Who is the worst professional sports franchise in the state of Ohio? Is it the Cleveland Browns? Is it the Cincinnati Reds? Is it a team that has a franchise quarterback that's missed the playoffs for 3 straight years? I mean, there is a lot of options. Speaking of options, the Reds had a lot of options yesterday. They had a couple. Based on it, and I always say this, based on how the Reds operate, I thought that they had 2 clear options yesterday. Technically 3. The first option was to unload all expiring contracted players, from the Caleb Fergusons, right, to the Brock Burks, to the Eugenio Suarez's, to the Tyler Stevensons, to the Nathaniel Lowe's. JJ Boudet didn't have an expiring contract, but that was a contract that, because of the way he was playing and how team-friendly it is, that's the value in it. They could have got a significant return there if that's what the Reds truly wanted to do. That was option 1. Option 2, which was the option that I sided with, which I was clearly in the minority on, was we're not going to actually part ways with any of these guys because we're still within reach of the playoffs. And we feel that with this rotation, we feel that with Ellie and Sal Stewart, complemented by, at the time, Nathaniel Lowe and JJ Boudet and others, and yes, even Tyler Stevenson, I think that the front office, should have looked at it and said, hey, we have a chance to make the playoffs. We're not going to unload these contracts. People were talking about the Reds, in my opinion, as if they were 20 games out of a playoff spot, both the division and the wild card. That's the way a lot of you were acting, and I thought that was wrong on your end. That was option 2. The third option, technically, could have been, go out and add an impact batter too. But the only reason I don't truly include that in their list of options is because we all know how the Cincinnati Reds operate. At no point did I actually think that they were going to be aggressive buyers at the deadline, which is why on yesterday's show, I said that the fact that the Reds had done nothing pretty much they didn't make any moves until the final 15 minutes of the deadline. Hell, one of the updates came after the 6:00 deadline, which means they started it probably at the 5:50 time frame or whatever. It don't matter. But I did say that based on the lack of activity from the Reds on the trade front, them doing nothing was doing something, because what they were telling you is we feel like we are good enough to make the playoffs. And you guys all said I was crazy. Charlie Goldsmith, who does a phenomenal job covering the Cincinnati Reds, put out an interesting article earlier today kind of covering the Reds' activity or lack thereof. One of the interesting excerpts from the article was right here for those watching on the YouTube channel on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. I'll make this where everyone could, read it a little more, maybe, if I actually, know what the hell I'm doing here. It says that Charlie Goldsmith said that the Reds were never going to punt on this season and deal all of their rentals, which is the side that I was on. Never felt the Reds should have punted on the season. You don't quit when it's so tough, when you have such a bad history of making the playoffs and you actually have a chance to make the playoffs this year. Who the hell are the Reds to punt on that? I found that very rich from a lot of Reds fans yesterday, that the playoffs isn't important. So Charlie Goldsmith said that the Reds were never going to punt on this season and deal all of their rentals. The offers that the Reds got for Brady Singer and Tyler Stevenson, according to Nick Kroll, did not outweigh the value that they bring to the table over the next 2 months, which is exactly what I've been saying for quite a while, which is why I said I don't want the Reds to move on from Eugenio Suarez. I think that the value that he brings to the team over the next 2 months, or the possibility of him getting hot, I think there's way more value in that than any return that the Reds can get, because I don't think that the return would be strong enough of any significance whatsoever. So I agree with that stance 100%. That with Nick Kroll, I agree with him that the offers that the Reds got for Brady Singer and Tyler Stevenson did not outweigh the value that they would bring to the table over the next 2 months. I agree with that. The value that they bring to the table over the next 2 months, because Tyler Stevenson, with the way he's swinging the bat, and Brady Singer, with the way that he is pitching, that is going to go a long way in the Reds' pursuit of a playoff berth for the second straight season. Which, by the way, they are 5 or 6 games out of a playoff spot as we sit here in early August. Guess what? They were 5 games out of a playoff spot in the month of September last year, and they still made the playoffs. Continuing on this article from Charlie Goldsmith from earlier today, and this is key as well, and I said this on yesterday's show, Brady Singer's ability to pitch every 5 days is especially important for a Reds team that is running out of pitching depth. You need arms to get you through the season, or else you kill your entire pitching staff. So all of the things that I had anticipated yesterday happened. I anticipated the fact that this team was not going to unload on all of these players. I anticipated the fact that this team looked at the fact that they're still in the playoff conversation. The Reds, it's tough for them to get themselves to this point to where they're in the playoff conversation. Why would they punt on it? I knew that they were never going to be aggressive buyers. They were not going to go bring in impact bats or anything else. So I never even considered that to be an option, a realistic option to begin with. So to me, the best move was to make no moves. And I would have been fine with that if they would have followed through with that. The problem that I have is that if you were going to do nothing, then do nothing. And the Reds, to me, I feel like Nick Kroll panicked. I feel like Nick Kroll got really uncomfortable with doing nothing and made a couple panic moves down the stretch. I guess it was the Oakland Athletics or the Las Vegas Athletics, whatever they're going by now. I think it would have been the Reds and the Athletics that would have been the only 2 teams to not make a deal in yesterday's trade deadline. The Reds made a couple down the stretch, but the Reds did move on. Of course, they did move on from Nathaniel Lowe, which I was not a fan of moving on from Nathaniel Lowe. Nathaniel Lowe is not a great player. It's not like he's a significant impact bat, but with the team that you don't have many options to begin with, I didn't like moving on from him for nothing. Right? Like, if you were going to do nothing, do nothing. Moving on from Caleb Ferguson, a reliable lefty in your bullpen for international cash considerations, is absolutely idiotic. Moving on from Nathaniel Lowe, who has been a consistent force within your lineup, and a lineup that has desperately needed that, I thought was pretty idiotic. So to move on from, like, if you were going to move on from rentals to get a bunch of prospects to help build your farm system for the future, I may not have liked that. I would not have liked punting on the playoffs, but I would have at least kind of understood it, even though I would have disagreed with it and not liked it. But I would have understood it. What I don't understand is talking about the fact that you're within 5.5 of a playoff spot, so you're not going to unload all your rentals, but then you don't add, and then you give up a couple pieces and you make your roster worse. So the pieces you did move on from, you did not get anything of significance back, so that they're not going to help you in the future. And all you did was make your roster worse heading into the final 2 months of this playoff push. I thought Nick Kroll, who I did not defend yesterday, but I was not as aggressively calling for his head yesterday as most of you, I thought he made a lot of boneheaded decisions down the stretch. I would have respected Nick Kroll way more had he stuck to his guns and said, we're not going to trade Nathaniel Lowe. We need Nathaniel Lowe. We need J.J. Bleday. We need Eugenio Suarez. We need Brock Burke. We need, right? We need these guys. We need Caleb Ferguson. So I would have respected that more. And I actually think the people that don't like that move would have respected that more as well, instead of this, well, we didn't want to give up our rentals because we need our rentals, but then you give up a piece of your bullpen and you give up one of your few consistent offensive pieces. If you're trying to make the playoffs, don't make any move or try to add. You don't do a little bit of combination of a hybrid option of options 1 and 2 that I discussed earlier. If you're just joining us, by the way, it's the Justin Kinner Show here on a Tuesday, reacting to all things Reds trade deadline yesterday and all the moves. And I say that tongue in cheek, of course, all the moves that they've made. But my goodness. Ron Howard says, decisions like this is why they run in place. GM is a sellout loser mentality. I do think that this is why they run in place. I think they're content with this. I think the Reds are content with being, 500. I know they're under 500 right now, but I think they're content with being a competitive 500 ball club. They have no desire or urgency to be a World Series contender. They do have no desire of being a bottom of the barrel team either. I think what this team is, with a little flair and excitement with Ellie De La Cruz and Sal Stewart, all right, and you add Chase Burns and you have Hunter Green and you have those guys, right? I think that's what this team, you have 3 or 4 guys that make it worth going to the ballpark to watch. You're going to see a team that is going to win close to the same amount of games that they lose, and they're going to be in the playoff conference. This is what the Reds want. They have no desire to be a World Series team. They also have no desire in being the Athletics, but they have all the desire in the world to be what we've witnessed, and that's the Cincinnati Reds. Competitive. But whether you like it or not, competitive might be good enough to get them in the playoffs. It was good enough to get there last year. It might be good enough to get them there this year. Like I said, I was one of the few that was okay with doing nothing yesterday, if it was truly nothing. Moving on from Caleb Ferguson weakens your bullpen. Why would you do that if you're keeping all the other rentals to keep you in the hunt? It's not like you desperately needed that $250,000 in international money. All right. And then to move on from Nathaniel Lowe to get some low A prospect from the Guardians that you'll probably never see. I think that's stupid. Is getting that prospect that you're never going to see pitch for the Reds worth giving up one of your most consistent bats for the back half of the season? I disagree with that decision. So I think it's silly at the end of the day. I really do. I think that the Reds made a dumb decision yesterday to move on from only 2. No half measures. I was dying laughing. I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad. I love that show. Better Call Saul. I'm like, to this day, I'm absolutely obsessed with that show. And there's the 2 episodes in Breaking Bad, the no half measures, right? And I saw someone post a meme yesterday with Mike Ehrmantraut staring right at Nick Krall, saying no half measures after that. And sure enough, he goes and he pulls off that bogus, day of activity, if you will, for the trade deadline. Like I said, if you were going to move on, like the reasons why he moved on from Caleb Ferguson and, of course, from Nathaniel Lowe, okay, if those are your reasons to move on from expired contracts, then move on from everybody. Move on from Suarez. Move on from Brock Burke. Excuse me. Sorry. Move on from all of those guys. I wouldn't have liked it, but I get it. That's what teams do. I just don't like it, but I would have understood it. But standing pat, like not moving on from Tyler Stevenson, not moving on from a lot of those pieces that you could have got some pieces back for, and not doing that. It was a half-measured approach by Nick Krall, which I think is the stupidest move he could have made. He should have either done what I wanted and made 0 moves. And by the way, it's not that I wanted 0 moves. I would love for them to go get an impact bat, okay? It's not like I didn't want them to go get MLB-ready talent. I just know that's not how they operate. So based on how that they operate, what I wanted them to do was nothing. Keep this roster intact. Give yourself a chance to be competitive in the back half of the season. Give Reds fans a reason to tune in for the final 2 months. Because if you move on from J.J. Bleday and you move on from, every name that we have discussed, from J.J. Bleday to Nathaniel Lowe to Eugenio Suarez to Brock Burke to Caleb Ferguson, and keep going down the list. If you want to move on from Brady Singer, all those, you could move on from all of those guys to stockpile a bunch of prospects, and hopefully those guys, a couple of them pan out. But now I have no interest in the final month and a half of the season. All right. Which is why I said I'm fine with them doing nothing and just competing for the final 2 months. You can't tell me there's no value in that. But now you've worsened your team's chances. All right. You've weakened the probability of them actually getting to the postseason, and you did nothing to help your future. I don't really know what the hell the Reds accomplished yesterday. I really don't. We're live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. We are live on the Justin Kinner Show YouTube channel. Leave your comments in the chat. I want to pick up at this when we come back. 937-518-1410. That's the number you can call or text. I'll get to your calls. I'll get to your texts. I'll get to your reactions in the chat. When we come back, it's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Frickers. Frickers, your home for fun food, sports, and spirits.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Celebrating 75 years serving Greater Dayton. Now is the time to join your friends and register for a fun fall league. Adult, youth, or mixed. Take your pick. Polking Bowling Centers has a fun program just for you. Visit polkingbowling.com or Facebook for the list of fall programs. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lanes South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
The gloves are off, celebrating their 20th anniversary. Welcome to the circus. Five Finger Death Punch, the most anticipated concert of the year, with very special guest Cody Jinks. Plus Eva Under Fire, August 10th, Riverbend Music Center. Five Finger Death Punch. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com and Riverbend.org. 20 years of Five Finger Death Punch.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast calling for clear skies and 65 tonight. We'll see sunshine and 89 tomorrow. Chance of storms. Otherwise, sunshine 89 on Thursday. I'm Rick Schremp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
1410 Wing AM, Dayton's ESPN Radio, powered by...
Hey, Cordell Transportation is now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers, excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply right now. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Do it right now. Driven to succeed.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app, free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, how can I help? Well, my husband and I feel like we've outgrown our current money manager. I see. Our lives have changed, and we need something more than just mutual funds to help us in retirement.
She's right.
I hear that often. At Fisher Investments, we'd start by getting to know you, your finances, family, health, lifestyle. We tailor a portfolio around your goals and needs.
Sounds good.
Can you help with estate planning? Yes. We have a team of specialists who can help you with estate planning, Social Security, investment income, and more. We'll get to know your whole financial picture and help keep you on the path to a comfortable retirement.
And your fees?
We have a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better. I feel better already. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Nobody builds a business without hearing a few reasons it won't work. Too risky, too crowded, too ambitious. But the people who move things forward usually hear those words first. Because growing a business takes more than optimism. It takes nerve, and eventually, a partner built for what's next. That's Next Rodeo. Big thinking, proven creative. For businesses still moving forward. Next Rodeo. The difference between the business you have and the business you want. Meet us at thenextrodeo.com.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show here on a Tuesday, 937-518-1410. The Reds make a couple of moves at the deadline, but very underwhelming moves. In fact, pointless moves. There was no point to it. I was very heated yesterday, debated with a lot of Reds fans yesterday, whether it was on social media, the show, or whatever. A lot of it was regarding what the Reds should. That's what's also interesting, too, is the fact that the Reds did pretty much stay intact. I don't like the Nathaniel Lowe move. I don't like moving on from Caleb Ferguson. I thought that was kind of pointless. I don't really know or understand what you exactly accomplished there. But the bottom line is that this is a team that, kept a lot of pieces in check. They have the best rotation of the teams above them that aren't in the wild card slots right now. And you have Ellie De La Cruz, you have Sal Stewart. You're keeping Tyler Stevenson has been phenomenal, which is one reason why so many people were pissed that he wasn't traded, is because I think what we're watching with Tyler Stevenson is what we've always seen with Tyler Stevenson, peaks and valleys. And right now we're at a peak. But, baseball, there's always going to be hot streaks and cold streaks. But with Tyler Stevenson, the cold streaks are significantly long. So could we have seen the best of Stevenson already this year? Who knows? But that's what's going to be interesting when we continue following all of this is how does this team look moving? It's not that how does this team look moving forward. It's post-trade deadline. Now that there's a lot of pressure, and a lot of answers now for these players, are they going to play more loose or whatever? But these guys have to face the pressure of knowing the fact that the front office kept this team intact with the goal of making the playoffs. There's expectations now. The one thing that would have happened had they unloaded a lot of these guys is the expectations for the playoffs would have been thrown out the window. And everyone just could play loose moving forward. I don't think you could play loose moving forward. I think that, there's pressure on Stevenson to perform now. There's pressure on Sal and Ellie to help close this deal, to get them there. I think there's pressure on JJ Bleday, who has a friendly contract that they could have moved on from. They chose not to. I think there's pressure on him. There's pressure on Hunter Green to stay healthy. There's pressure on Terry Francona and really the Reds organization. You made all this stink about, okay, we're going to compete for the playoffs. Are you going to shut down Chase Burns in the midst of your pursuit of the playoffs? Or was that the one reason why you did not decide to trade Brady Singer, because you are about to shut down Chase Burns and you needed a reliable number 2 pitcher behind Hunter Green, of course? I think those are all fair questions. Nonetheless. But as of right now, the Reds have a shot. 5-6 games out of a playoff spot with 2 months to go. One of the better rotations in baseball. Ellie, Sal Stewart. All right, Tyler Stevenson playing great. JJ Bleday's been, very consistent throughout. And the bullpen is okay. I think it's an okay bullpen, but it has to stay healthy. I haven't even looked, by the way. I did not do my homework on this. As far as Graham Ashcraft, I don't know what the prognosis is on him and when the estimated time frame of when he could return is. Graham Ashcraft was a big piece of that bullpen too, and not having him, not having Pierce Johnson, who was hurt, like there was a bigger vision for this. Getting Brock Burke, getting Caleb Ferguson, getting Pierce Johnson to obviously pair up, and getting your closer and Emilio Pagan to come back, and then of course having Graham Ashcraft in there, and then TJ Antone has actually stepped up and been pretty great. I mean, this guy's battled multiple Tommy John surgeries and the injuries. The bullpen, when it's completely healthy, was constructed in a very good way, in my opinion. I like what they did in the offseason with the bullpen. But they just haven't been able to get – and no one should feel sorry for them. Injuries are part of the game. It's part of it. But let's not act like they didn't play a role in it. But as I said, I'm annoyed with yesterday. In my opinion, I felt like if you were going to do nothing, do nothing. You were doing such a good job of doing nothing until the final 10 minutes, and then I feel like they panicked and they gave away – a reliable bullpen arm in Caleb Ferguson, a lefty at that, for international cash considerations. Nathaniel Lowe you sent to the Guardians, and you got a low-A prospect in return, and the chances of him ever playing or throwing an inning for the Reds, super, super slim. So I don't think that was worth it. At the end of the day. But is what it is. Chris Cunningham on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page says, if there's not going to be baseball next year, why would they make a move? Should have went for it this year. The thing is, though, Chris, what is your definition of going for it this year? Because to me, going for it means making a move or two to, put you in position to make the playoffs. And the Reds did that in the offseason. It was just nothing sexy. Nothing this team does is sexy. And the only time we talk about big names with this team is who are we going to trade them to? Like, you know what I mean? Like when we talk about Elly De La Cruz, it's not, man, are the Reds going to extend him? It's who are they going to trade him to? Hunter Green, they got that early extension done years ago, like the one they just got done with, of course, Chase Burns. But every conversation since then, we haven't even truly been able to enjoy Hunter Green since that extension, because right away he's going to look good in Dodger blue. Nothing the Reds do is sexy when it comes to anything. But I don't know what you mean by all in, because the Reds will never go all in when it comes to a World Series. I do think that we've seen them go all in based on their standards at times to be a playoff team. I do believe that was their goal this past offseason. They went and got Terry Francona to lead them to the playoffs. He did that in year one, has a chance to do it in year two. You get the Chase Burns deal done because it gives you a security blanket when you move on from Hunter Green, or gives you a strong 1-2 punch for at least a 2-year stretch, maybe one, because I don't see there being a season next year. Reloading the bullpen the way that they did. I like what they did with the bullpen. The bullpen just didn't stay healthy. You went out and got Suarez. That didn't work. Like a lot of these things didn't work. And keep in mind, something else to keep in mind that did not work in the Reds' favor is, a lot of the guys that they had a chance to move on from under, players with multiple years of team control remaining that would have been really attractive at the deadline. I actually feel like, Suarez would have been a perfect candidate to move on from if he was playing well. If Suarez was playing well and playing like he was a year ago at this time, he would have got a strong return. There would have been a team desperate for a power hitting DH that they could have given up a top prospect or two for. And I don't mean two top prospects, but like at least a top 10 prospect or something. That could have happened. Wasn't going to happen. Spencer Steer had been rumored to go to the Red Sox. There was a lot of teams interested in Spencer Steer. Nick Lodolo, if he doesn't get a blister every time he looks at a baseball, he could have been moved. Spencer Steer could have been moved. Tony Santillan, if he wasn't hurt, could have been moved. Graham Ashcraft could have potentially been moved. All those guys are hurt. Those are guys with team control. Like if it was really about getting good prospects back, those were the names that the Reds would have probably been interested in moving on from under the current circumstances. But they're all hurt. No value. Nick Lodolo could have got you something in return. Same thing with Spencer Steer, Tony Santillan, possibly, but I do believe Graham Ashcraft, who's been a very good bullpen arm for the Reds, all hurt. So the way to add impact talent at the deadline is by dealing those types of players, because it's not even just about prospects. I think you could have gotten help in the lineup with the Spencer Steer, Nick Lodolo, Tony Santillan, Graham Ashcraft, this, that, the other. Those guys could have helped you get a return to help you win now. So you had no options there. And for got to plan for the future crowd. Even if you move on from Suarez and others right now, they're not going to get you a strong enough return to help you for the future. So that was my point. Nothing that you were going to get of return for any of the guys that were on the trade block, if you will, was going to be good enough to justify punting on a playoff opportunity. That was my whole point. There is so much value to me in making the postseason. There just is, especially for an organization like Cincinnati who never makes the playoffs, and you have a chance to do it. Don't tell me that there's no value in making the playoffs. I think that that's very rich of a fan base to act like it's no big deal to make the playoffs just because you're not good enough to win a World Series. I think that's kind of silly, in my opinion. So unless you were going to get something of significance back for the Caleb Fergusons of the world, right, or the Nathaniel Lowe's or the J.J. Boude's, there was no market. Yesterday, Nick Krall said that they had talks with teams, but there was nothing significant return-wise that was being offered for any of the pieces that they had, which is why I love the quote, and this is why I've been saying this all week, all right? I had been saying this all week that Krall, according to Nick Krall, even the offers that were on the table for Brady Singer and Tyler Stevenson, none of them, they didn't outweigh the value that they bring to the table over the next 2 months. Pursuing the playoffs with Brady Singer and Tyler Stevenson, they bring a lot of value to pursuing the playoffs. That value, there was nothing you were going to get in return for those guys that was going to have a greater value than that. You can't tell me making the playoffs doesn't matter. And this organization wants to make the playoffs. I do believe that. That's why I agree with them not being aggressive yesterday at the deadline, moving on from guys. I just had a problem with, if you were going to do nothing, stick to doing nothing. Let's go to Shaw. Shaw, thanks for holding.
How you doing, man?
Another day in paradise. Who do you think's having a worse day, the owner of Buc-ee's or Nick Kroll?
That's a good question.
Actually, I think the owner of Buc-ee's is having a better day, because I don't think that guy or gal or whoever gives a damn. Nick Kroll gives a damn. I think he's having a very bad day. I
mean, if he does care, then he has a very hard way of showing it.
I think that guy, to be fair, Shaw, Nick Kroll was in a lose-lose situation. He was going to get destroyed no matter what happened yesterday. There was no, unless you were getting the Scooballs of the world or the Alvarez, guys like that, there was no, and tell me if I'm wrong, was there any meaningful mid-tier impact moves yesterday? I don't think there was any. I could be wrong, but I don't think that there was any. I don't think this was a weak trade market as far as the middle. It was top heavy like it usually is with the Scooballs and others. But outside of that, I don't think that anyone made a big move outside of the Red Sox and outside of the Dodgers that you could say, oh yeah, those are playoff shifting type of moves. I just think this trade deadline sucked, and it was just the Reds, of course, put their flair to it.
You're not wrong. You're not right. And I hate that. I hate being in that position. It was definitely a seller's market, and that's why I think everybody of the that you have relationships with, that they're so ticked off and infuriated and just indifferent today, because
if you're talking about the guys at Chatterbox, I'm interrupting again. Here's the problem I had. I watched their show yesterday. First of all, they do great. Just because I'm criticizing something they said doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing. They know that.
Right.
I forgot which of them said this, but it drove me nuts. Suarez, there's no point. They were mad because you got to think about the future. Move on from Suarez. I don't care if they offer you a bag of peanuts. How does a bag of peanuts make you better? That's the thing. I think Suarez, all right, if it truly is for a bag of peanuts, Suarez has more value to you over the next 2 months than a bag of peanuts. And I don't think they had anyone of true value that was going to get a significant return. The guys that's Tyler Stevenson and Brady Singer, I mean, everyone's mad at Nick Kroll, so no one's going to believe him. But I do believe him. I don't think there was a good enough return for those guys. Why would he turn down a good return for those guys? I don't believe that he turned down a good return. I don't think that there was one. And I think he was weighing those options, and he said as such. I just think people are not going to believe anything he says right now because everyone's just so angry at him. But I believe him. I don't think that there was going to be any strong return for any of those guys as far as who was available at that time. Now, if Spencer Steer was available, if Nick Lodolo was healthy and available, Graham Ashcraft, Tony Santillan, guys like that, maybe a different story. But I don't think that any of the pieces that they could have moved on from expiring contract-wise, none of those guys have been good enough to get anything strong enough in return for, in my opinion.
Where I will agree with you on what you just said is that's what puts him in a no-win situation.
Yep.
What puts him in a no-win situation is the front office and mainly ownership, because I don't believe what he said.
Okay.
I don't. The reason I don't is I believe ownership told him, you're not trading those guys.
I think you want to know who I also think played a role in that? You don't go get a Terry Francona to do that. If David, in all seriousness, if David Bell's your manager, I think all those guys are gone, even if it is for a bag of peanuts. I think when you have Terry Francona as your manager, I think that played a role in ownership's mind to say, we have Terry Francona. We're not punting on a season. And Charlie Goldsmith said as much in his article earlier today as well. At no point were the Reds ever going to punt on this season. Well, if you weren't going to punt on this season, there was never going to be moves made to appease the Shaws and most of the fan base out there, right? So I think because you have Terry Francona as your manager, I do believe that plays a role in why they did not make the moves that they did. I really mean that. I really believe that.
Hear me out when I say this.
All right.
If that's the case, then Tito needs to go.
No, I disagree. He's why they're trying to win. No,
because doing nothing. This is the other part of where I disagree with you. Doing nothing is nothing. It's not doing something. It's doing nothing.
No, by doing nothing, you have a chance to make the playoffs.
Deadline,
that's something.
No, hear me out.
Okay.
In this trade deadline, I don't care which way you go. I don't care. Sell, buy, I don't care. But you have to do something. You are not in the position as the Cincinnati Reds, 5 games under 500, 6 games under 500, whatever they are, 5.5 games out of the wild card to do nothing. That, I think, is what has most everybody infuriated. Like, you can't sit there on the one hand and say we're going for the playoffs and then trade your best bat versus left-handers. That move legitimately made your team worse. So if you're going to go on that, that means you're not really trying. That tells me you're really not trying to make the playoffs when you sell your best batter versus left-handed pitching. Well,
that's why I said earlier, I felt he panicked. I feel like those were 2 panic moves. Those were, I don't know about you, but my wife makes fun of me all the time when I go to a restaurant. So like I have like my go-tos, like I'm just going to get a burger. If I'm going to look at the menu and I'm like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. I always say I just panic order. And when it's my turn, I'm like, damn it, I don't know what I want. Just give me a burger and fries. Like I just panic order. That's what I do.
Right.
And I feel like that's what Nick Krall happened to him yesterday. He was doing good, doing nothing. And if you're going to do nothing, do nothing. And then he did nothing really, really poorly because he moved on from 2 guys that they need. This team is worse right now. He made this team worse. He didn't improve them for the future.
Considerably worse.
He did not improve them for the future. And he did not, but to me, increasing their chances of being able to make the playoffs would have been doing nothing based on what teams around them did. A lot of teams who were in the Reds position sold yesterday. The Reds did not. So I just thought that was a panic move. It was 5:50, and we thought, man, they literally no moves. And then all of a sudden they make 2 moves in the final 10 minutes of the deadline. I think he panicked, and I think it was a moronic move. I've been more of a defender of him than others. I don't think he's done a great job. I just think that the Reds don't put you in a position to succeed no matter who the GM is. But I thought that was a dumb move. 2 dumb moves yesterday to weaken the bullpen and to take one of your most consistent hitters away. And like I forgot about that aspect too. Shaw, you're right. Against lefties, it was 2 dumb moves yesterday. They should have done nothing, in my opinion. I know we defer on that.
The low move is the one that's the most idiotic to me, because you considerably made your team worse on that aspect. And the whole front office to Krall thing, the ownership to Krall thing, my issue with Krall is the fact of the matter is, like, it actually is yesterday. That's the justification for everything for me. Whether he panicked, whether he was listening to the fan base, because at the end of the day, there was almost 5,000 fans watching that one show yesterday, and they were pretty loud one way or the other, and that's what it seemed like to me was he panicked. Yep. It would have learn how to speak. It would have been much better for him, the ownership, and this franchise to literally do what you wanted to do and do nothing. Over what they did, because, and I know that sounds like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but I'm not, because I still feel you could have taken your prospects, the guy they pulled up onto the roster today, and some others that they could have traded away, and you could have got some of those bats. Yeah, I understand they're not glitz and they're not glamour. I believe some of the guys moved from the Rockies. I believe the bat moved from the Nationals. I believe there was a lot of quiet moves that I think improved teams that right now people don't understand and people don't know, but come the end of September and October, they're going to go, oh, that's why they made that move. And the same thing could have happened with the Reds. And those are the decisions I'm talking about, the tough ones that because at the end of the day, this is the bottom line for me. And this is why I'm so despondent towards this franchise now. And that's why I say that this franchise is the worst franchise in the state of Ohio, because they literally have no plan. They don't have no plan from the top to the minor leagues. They don't have a plan at the Major League Baseball level, and I'm including Tito at this. They don't have an idea of what they want to do in the future. They don't have an idea of what they want to do in free agency. They don't have an idea of whether they want to be a developmental team, if they want to go attack free agency, because at the end of the day, I'm of the opinion that you can't do both. If you're a developmental team, that means you're a developmental team. That means every few years you're selling off prospects and you're going after some guys to get to recoup the cupboard, and that's not what a lot of people want to do. So the other option is you build in free agency, and sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't, but you're getting Major League Baseball talent. What the Reds are deciding to do, whether it's the front office or Crawl, I don't know. And at this point, I don't care. It's all of them. So that's why somebody's got to go, and it should be Crawl. He chooses to dabble in the middle. He chooses to dabble with prospects. He chooses to dabble to go into free agency. And at the end of the day, he uses the confines of what he's allowed to use as him able to do nothing. And that's what basically, except yesterday wasn't a nothing. Yesterday hurt the ball club. And if it was me at 6:15, if I was ownership, and this is why I'm not, but at 6:15, he'd have been fired for literally that low move, because it doesn't answer anything. It just doesn't answer anything.
Well, I'm going to wait and see if this team, this team's still in the playoff picture. They were 5 games back in September of last year, made the playoffs. If they make the playoffs again,
you had to have an epic collapse in order for that to happen.
You also had to win enough games to still be in that spot, because there was a lot of teams that did not make the playoffs, even with the Mets collapse. So they had to still win enough games in series that mattered. So yes, did the Mets, tank, definitely help? Absolutely. But again, as we act like you and everyone keep talking about the Reds as if they're the Angels, 20 games out of a playoff spot in both the division and the wild card. That is not what this team is. This is not a horrendous team. This is not a horrendous baseball team. They're just not.
Today, I believe they are.
They're not a horrendous baseball team. They're not. I'm mad that they moved on from Nathaniel Lowe for nothing and Caleb Ferguson for nothing. But acting like losing both of them is all of a sudden the reason that this team should just be, demoted to Little League. That's insane.
Why would anyone throw right-handed pitching against this ball club? Why would anybody throw right-handed pitching against this ball club?
This team has flaws. They are not a horrific
baseball
team.
Put a left-hander on this, and we'll never win a ball game again.
They're never going to win a ball game. They're going to lose the final 50-plus games.
No, you're missing the point of what I said.
I'm not.
You're just taking the basis of what I said.
No, you're taking one of their flaws and saying that this flaw is why they are a horrific baseball team.
It's a huge flaw.
They all these teams have flaws. The Cardinals, all the teams in the playoff picture have flaws.
Not the best hitter in facing left-handers. They didn't trade that guy.
And a lot of teams don't have the Reds starting pitching. It's every team. There's no.
That we don't know if we can even rely on.
Well, until that's a problem for right now. Right now, their starting pitching has been
problem.
fine. Oh my gosh, this team is in position to compete for a playoff spot. That's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm going to keep watching.
Green's just coming off and hasn't looked the same since coming back. Burns hasn't looked the same and probably going to get sat down.
All they do is win with Chase Burns on the mound.
We can't even trust to even do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
yet here they are in the playoff conversation. Here they are in the playoff conversation.
For right now, this is
right now. It is right now. It's today. What is today? The 4th. It's August 4th. I'm doing a show on August 4th. I'm not doing a show at the. It's not at the end of September right now. And at the end of September, at the end of September, if they're out of it, then I'll be talking about a team that's out of it. But as of right now, I'm talking about a team that is in it. So until they're out of it, I'm going to be optimistic. I did the exact
same thing at the end of April. You did the exact same thing.
I said that this team would be a playoff contender, and guess what? They're still, even with all their flaws, in the playoff conversation.
And just like I said at the end of April, a disaster was coming in May and June.
What's the disaster? They're still in the playoff contention.
Oh my God, dude. You cannot be.
No, this team is not great. They are not the Dodgers. They are not, but they're not the Angels. They are not the Athletics. What is wrong with you?
They're worse than the.
They're worse. I'm hanging up on that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That is so stupid to say that they're worse. The Reds are worse than the Angels. Really? Really? The Reds are not the Dodgers. The Reds are not great. They have a lot of flaws. They're still in the playoff conversation. They're still in the playoff conversation. And to say that, oh man, that moving on from Nathaniel Lowe, that's why all of a sudden they're just the worst team in baseball. I mean, my goodness, if Nathaniel Lowe is that much of a difference maker, then man, they should have got a lot more than the 126th ranked prospect for the Guardians. I don't really know where he ranked. I know he's in the 20s, but I know we won't see him. So there's that. At least the Angels made moves. At least the Angels they have no. What are the Angels playing for? The Angels are 20 games under 500. They're 20 games out of a playoff spot, Shaw. At least the Angels made moves. Yeah, the Angels, of course they make moves. If the Reds were out of it, they make moves. The Reds are conflicted because they're right there in the playoff conversation, but also knowing that, yes, they probably need to get prospects, but they were conflicted. I don't think they made the right decision yesterday, but it doesn't matter. You're smarter than that. This team's not the Angels. Are you kidding me? Are we really comparing the Reds to the Angels? Really? The Angels might be, in my opinion, the most poorly run professional franchise in all of sports, and you're going to compare the Reds to that. The Reds have flaws. There's so many things that are frustrating about the Reds. But I'm not going to sit here and entertain a conversation with a dumb talking point about how the Reds are the Angels. Give me a break. What the hell is wrong with people?
KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris is now hiring for third shift stamping equipment support group. You'll have the opportunity to work with cutting-edge technology producing high-quality automotive components. Do you have this specialized skill in electrical and mechanical aptitude and a working knowledge of troubleshooting electrical units? We're looking for you. KTH offers excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and 401k. Apply today and be valued by a company that sincerely cares about you. Apply online at kth.net, an equal opportunity employer.
Being present and in the moment for family activities was impossible because Will Burt was so focused on the constant pain in his leg.
My wife likes to take walks. I always kind of dreaded going on walks because they hurt. The boys both play baseball. I coach their teams. I was going to do them and be in pain and be uncomfortable and kind of sacrifice my own health.
An old Achilles injury left Will coping with agonizing pain until he discovered the natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No surgery or steroids. The procedure took place in the office and Will walked right out.
I feel great. There's no pain. There's no tenderness.
Patients like Will are feeling amazing and living their best lives.
Ironically, just got off the golf course today, so I think that's a good telltale sign that the Achilles is feeling better.
Don't be in pain another day. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
On BritBox, your next hidden gem is right around the corner. If you're going to be bold, there is a place to do it. Get ready for Britain's most anticipated series, streaming exclusively on BritBox. Catch new seasons of favourites, including Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
You want someone to get murdered?
And the eagerly awaited new adaptation of Agatha Christie's iconic detective duo, Tommy and Tuppence.
Do you think we're actually really good at this?
Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Watch with a free trial.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Cordell Transportation is looking for more weekend warriors. If you have a Class A CDL and would like to make some extra money casually driving weekend daytime routes, then Cordell Transportation is looking for you. Home daily, all loads round trip, no touch freight, and competitive pay. Full-time routes could become available if you're interested. Drive weekends at Cordell Transportation. Apply at CordellTransportation.com or call Ron at 937-277-7271. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
The Ohio State Fair has more of the fair you love.
It's the best day together with more to do. Bring the whole crew for the classics you love. Plus, even more to explore, taste, and experience with brand new buildings, attractions, and more.
More of the fair you love. The Ohio State Fair, July 29th through August 9th, 2026.
Plan your day and get tickets at ohiostatefair.com.
If you need new roofing, siding or gutters, skylights or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's pounds of towing capacity, and you're ready to roll. Here we go again. The Gator XUV, built for every kind of workday. Learn more at johndeere.com/Gator XUV. Nothing runs like a deer.
Star City Concrete is the Miami Valley's most trusted concrete company, offering unparalleled services as a local family-owned business celebrating 20 years. We offer residential and commercial driveways, patios, walkways, steps, barn floors, slabs, foundations, and much more. Star City Concrete takes pride in delivering exceptional quality in every project. Our professional team understands that needs are unique, so we offer personalized solutions that stand the test of time. Contact us today for a quote at StarCityConcrete.com. You'll be glad you did.
Save big money and get everything you need for your staining project when you shop at Menards. Pittsburgh's Paramount Stain is a premium exterior wood stain and sealant in one. It provides exceptional waterproofing protection and is ready for rain in 2 hours after application. Save big on all our staining products. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places. What you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. From budget to the best. From desks to filing cabinets. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to want to go anywhere else. Larick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 Mac Oil Avenue in Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larick's, continuing the tradition.
The
gloves are off, celebrating their 20th anniversary.
Welcome to the circus.
Five Finger Death Punch, the most anticipated concert of the year,
With very special guest Cody James.
plus Eva Under Fire, August 10th, Riverbend Music Center. Five Finger Death Punch. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com and Riverbend.org. 20 years of Five Finger Death Punch.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Frickers. According to Shaw, the worst team in baseball tonight, the Cincinnati Reds, will take on one of the actual worst teams in baseball, in the Athletics. They get a 3-game series underway starting tonight. Brady Singer, who we thought we saw the last of Brady Singer late last week, but he's going to make another start and continue to start for the Reds, at least for the remainder of the 2026 season. Brady Singer on the mound tonight. Rhett Lauder will have game 2 against the Athletics, and then Hunter Green will close out the series on Thursday against the Athletics. So, and then a series with the Nationals will get underway. Andrew Abbott will pitch game 1 on Friday with Chase Burns on Saturday, and then Brady Singer again will be on the mound to close out that National series, and then a White Sox series all on the road coming up again. Lauder, Green, and Abbott will be responsible on the mound during that stretch before the Reds return back home again on August 14th to start a series with the Marlins. So I mentioned every team above the Reds in the playoff picture right now. The Pirates was a team that was ahead of them. They just took 3 of 4. The Cardinals were ahead of them. They took 2 of 3. They're going to have the Nationals who are ahead of them. The Marlins are ahead of them. They'll have 5 more with the Cardinals in a 5-game series because of a makeup game from earlier in the year. The Diamondbacks are ahead of them. They'll face them. So by the end of August, the Reds would have played, because you got the Cubs as well and the Padres. By the time you get to September 2nd, the Reds would have played every team ahead of them in the wild card picture at that point. So we'll reassess where the Reds are at that point. But again, no major moves yesterday. The major move that the Reds made was the move that they did not make when it's all said and done. We do have our Buckeye report coming up here as it's officially the top of hour number 2. So we'll step away for a few moments. We're going to talk some college football coming up around the corner. We'll step away for a few. When we come back, Paul Keels will have your Buckeye camp report. That's coming up next. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Frickers. Frickers, your home for fun food, sports, and spirits.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast calling for clear skies and 65 tonight. We'll see sunshine and 89 tomorrow. Chance of storms, otherwise sunshine, 89 on Thursday. I'm Rick Schreck for 1410 ESPN Radio.
What defines Ohio? A place that dares to go first and never looks back. There's no slowing us down. At Jobs Ohio, our mission is clear. Strengthen job opportunities and empower Ohio's workforce. Another
to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text SPARK to 215-215. That's SPARK to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Ohio State football.
Training camp report.
And this report is brought to you by Safe Flat Auto Glass as well as Bob's Discount Furniture. As Ohio State gets ready to get down to business for the 2026 football season, head coach Ryan Day talks about one of the things that makes Ohio State and the football program so special, and it's the commitment and the consistency from his coaching staff and other staff personnel.
They understand what it means to be at Ohio State. They understand what it means to be a Buckeye, and they pour.
Bob's.com to see where America shops for furniture. Oh my God! Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
We previously heard Ryan Day talking about how the success and consistency of his coaching staff has been a big reason why they've been able to have success. He also took the opportunity at Big Ten Media today to show the respect he has for the Big Ten coaches as a whole, especially when you consider 4 new coaches.
Our coaches within the Big Ten is as strong as I've seen since I've been in the Big Ten. When you sit in the meetings and Tony's in there, he listens. You know, we go in there, we vent, we talk about a lot of things, we complain. It's part of the job with all the change that goes on, and he can't fix everything, but he's listening, and he's going to do what he can when he leaves to get those things addressed. But I can't tell you how much respect I have for there's 17 guys in that room. When you look all the way up and down the entire conference, this is as strong as it's been. And I got a lot of respect for the guys in that room.
And that was reference also to Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti. Buckeyes open the season Labor Day weekend against Ball State. We'll have another report tomorrow. This is Paul Keels on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
On BritBox, your next hidden gem is right around the corner.
If you're going to be bold, here is the place to do it.
Get ready for Britain's most anticipated series, streaming exclusively on BritBox. Catch new seasons of favorites, including Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
You want someone to get murdered?
And the eagerly awaited new adaptation of Agatha Christie's iconic detective duo, Tommy and Tuppence.
Do you think we're actually really good at this?
Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Watch with a free trial.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
5-time Grammy-nominated Joe Bonamassa with special guest Government Mule. Performing live on August 11th at the Rose Music Center at the Heights. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com and the Rose Music Center box office. Don't miss this night of genuine rock with Joe Bonamassa and Government Mule.
It's the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, and more at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
A is for ABS, B is for BCM, C is for CVT, D is for... Don't worry, we're not going to quiz you, because at Carroll Works Tire, we know the auto industry is full of acronyms. But here's the one that matters the most, Tire. Trust, integrity, reliability, expertise. Carroll Works Tire, keeping Dayton rolling from A to Z. Find us online at c-wtire.com or talk to a real human at 937-461-5441.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
1410 ESPN Radio is Dayton's radio home to, according to David Shaw, the worst baseball team in the country, the Cincinnati Reds. Talk about dramatic. Look, I don't know. I guess it's just because I have more of a realistic expectation of who the Reds are that I don't get super emotional from that standpoint of, I mean, what did you expect them to do? Did you expect them to go get Skubal? Were you thinking that they were going to put together a package to try and pry away Shohei Ohtani from the Dodgers? Like, well, what are the realistic expectations? You guys know this Reds team is just not going to do it. And that's why you're pissed. That's fine. But I still have to formulate opinions about this team. I can't just come on the air every single day and say, they suck, they suck, they suck. It's no, based on how they operate, here's what I think they're going to do. And I was pretty damn close to being right until they pivoted at the end and made some really stupid moves of just sending them off for nothing. It didn't make any sense. They talked out of both sides of their mouth, wanting to keep a lot of the guys that they didn't move on from because they're still within striking distance of a playoff spot, but then you just made your team worse for no reason. You didn't get anything of substance back in return. It was a dumb move by Nick Kroll on his part yesterday, no doubt. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact. I mean, the way that, for Shaw, and I saw a lot of people do this on social media, bring up the fact that, wow, the Angels have made more moves than the Reds. Well, the Angels are a horrifically bad franchise. They are a horrifically bad team. They couldn't win with Mike Trout. They couldn't win with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. Couldn't make the playoffs. They've had, Mike Trout, they had for over 10 years, and he's had one playoff appearance. They had Shohei Ohtani, no playoff appearances. They are the worst franchise in sports. It's not even close. They are 20 games out of, any playoff picture or whatever. Like they comparing the Reds, of course the Angels were making moves. The Angels have to make a ton of moves. The Reds have to make a ton of moves too, but the Reds are still in the playoff conversation. The Angels would not do as many moves as they did if they were in the playoff conversation. They're not, because they're ass. It's as simple as that. The Reds are not great. They're not the Dodgers. They're not a playoff, they're not a guaranteed playoff lock, but they are a playoff contender. That's what they are. So I'm going to talk about them as a playoff contender because they are a playoff contender. Simple as that. But either way. And I hope you're well. Ann Anderson says, give me minor league baseball anytime. It is so fun watching prospects improve, progress through the system, and even get promoted. And baseball is baseball. Give me the fun part. Look, that's why I've always said, like, with teams like the Reds and the ones that like to scream small, the Moneyball type situation where they have to build from within and they won't spend actual money and this, that, and the other. They have to build from, internally, whatever. The bottom line is that's why the fans connect so much, even with the Reds, when they do things that piss them off, is because you feel so connected to this team. Like that emotion that Tyler Stevenson felt, it's because he was drafted by he was drafted. Devin Mesoraco was the catcher when Tyler Stevenson was drafted. Tyler Stevenson didn't make his debut until 2020 for the Cincinnati Reds, and then he hit a home run in his very first at bat. But you connect with the Tyler Stevensons of the world and the Ellie De La Cruzes of the world. And, Chase Burns was a fast push through. I mean, he was drafted and within a year was already called up by the Reds. I mean, that's what he wanted. I mean, same thing with Rhett Lauder and others. But a lot of these guys, you're patient with them. You see them come up through the system. You see them develop, and you see them come to. And that's that connection that the fans like Ann and us here in Dayton with the Dragons have. We feel like we're a part of their journey. So when they do get up to the main roster, you feel like you went through that journey with them. That's what's special about that. Dodger fans love it because they're World Series contenders, and I would love us to be a World Series contender too. But like Dodger fans, do you feel that connection with Shohei Ohtani, with the Mookie Betts of the world, with the Freddie Freemans of the world? Like those guys that Betts was established with the previous franchise. Shohei Ohtani, little different. I don't think he was established with the Angels. Everyone just knew he had no business being there because they're a horrifically bad organization, or as Shaw likes to say, better than the Reds, which is insane. But yeah, like it. And I agree with you. There is something special about that because you do feel like you've come up through the system with them. So there's that. Let's see. David Shaw, I'm taking shots at Lance McAllister. That's nice. The biggest homer of the fake local media, Lance McAllister, is even upset and bashing the Reds front office, but Kinner is slurping the Reds water. What am I doing that is, what are you talking about, Shaw? Me saying that a team with a really good rotation, still a solid bullpen, and a lineup that does feature Sal Stewart, Ellie De La Cruz, Tyler Stevenson, and others, me saying that that's not a bad team pisses you off? You freaking crybaby? That makes you mad? Me saying that a team with a good rotation, a solid bullpen, and capable pieces in a lineup, me saying that that's good enough to compete for the playoffs, that makes you mad? Are you that much of a man-child, really? That makes you mad? That you have to say that I'm slurping the Reds, blah, 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 whatever the hell you said, which is a very creepy, weird thing to say. I have no clue what your problem is. How am I the bad guy for using common sense? Reds have a very good rotation, solid bullpen, Ellie De La Cruz and Sal Stewart, a Hall of Fame manager in Terry Francona, and I'm supposed to say that that is the worst team in baseball? Your brain may operate that way, but at least it's operating. Your brain may operate that way, but mine doesn't. This team's not winning a World Series, probably not even winning a playoff series, but this team is still in playoff contention. What is wrong with still pulling for them to make the playoffs, you weirdo? What is wrong with that? No, it doesn't make me mad. It makes me laugh, he says. Okay, go laugh. That's fine. I don't care what you do. But anyways, is what it is as far as that's concerned. Reds fans are upset. The normal Reds fans are upset, and then there's whatever Shaw's pretending to be, who's not even a Reds fan, by the way. He's a Braves fan, so I have no clue what he's so angry about. Let's move on. So I saw this earlier today. The coaches poll is out, and there's Ohio State sitting at number 1, Oregon at 2. And look, by the way, the preseason poll, like the coaches poll, and when the AP poll comes out, I'm here to tell you the only reason we like to look at these is because we love to benchmark these. We love to hold these off to the side and save them so that we can have receipts come November, December, when we just see how horrifically wrong the coaches poll and the AP poll, how wrong they get it, right? Ohio State coming in at number 1. I mean, wow, they really went out on a limb there. Look, these coaches don't know. I think it's even more difficult now to try to gauge who the top teams are right now because half these rosters reset so much. I mean, there's a lot of your mainstays, but a lot of times that what makes these teams great, it's not the names that you know, it's the names you don't. It's the depth pieces. And we used to know the depth pieces, right? But now with the portal, with so many pieces moving around, it's really hard to keep up. But then we start to lean on to the number 1 sexy position, which is quarterback. If you're familiar with the quarterback's name, you feel confident about the team's chances. It's not a surprise that you look at Arch Manning and Texas in the top 5. You look at Notre Dame and their quarterback in the top 5. Dante Moore in Oregon at number 2. Julian Sayin and the Buckeyes at number 1. It's not a surprise. Even Indiana at number 6. That it's not a surprise, right? Like, I don't really care about this. I know I'm talking about it. I'm talking about something to convince you I don't care about it, but I care about it because I think it's silly. I think these polls are put out there because they have to be. They've traditionally always been put out there, but I think these are pointless. I will say that Ohio State, the number 1 team in the country, I worry about the offensive line, and I got to tell you, I've debated this with Kev. All right, Phil Steele, Dave Biddle, everyone I've had on that we've talked Buckeyes in the build-up to this, Keith Byers. We're going to be talking more Buckeyes as we get closer, which, by the way, I think we're 32 days away. I hope Julian Sayin is as good as what everyone is saying. You know what I'm saying? We've had this debate before, but the only way the Buckeyes are the number 1 team in the country, in fact, the only way that the Buckeyes are going to make the playoffs, the only way that the Buckeyes are even going to get to a Big Ten championship game is if Julian Sayin is what you guys are saying he is. Because Julian Sayin looked really, really good against, the nobodies last year. He looked really, really good last year against the nobodies. The somebodies, though, he didn't look like a somebody against the somebodies. He didn't look like a somebody against Texas. He didn't look like a somebody, right, against Michigan, although he did rebound a little bit after throwing the interception, but we also knew Michigan kind of stunk. So, it is what it is. But he didn't look like a somebody against Indiana. He didn't look like a somebody against Miami. 4 interceptions between the Texas, Michigan, Indiana, and the 4 interceptions in those 4 games, and he had 4 interceptions in the rest of the whole season combined. He turned the ball over, completion percentage way down. Did not make great throws, and I just did not think, I mean, for a guy that has a Jeremiah Smith, I mean, what would a Dante Moore do with the Jeremiah Smith? What would Notre Dame's quarterback do with the Jeremiah Smith? I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, Julian saying, got to give him a little bit of a pass because it was his first full year as a starter. But I also, I give him a pass for the Texas game last year because there was no tune-up game. It was just, Texas right away being thrown out to the Wolves. Kind of a little bit for Arch Manning, but Arch Manning had some previous starts, some bench starts, but but it was his first, season as a full-time starter. It was the same for both quarterbacks. But Julian Sain was really good as the season went along, high completion percentage. I mean, was very efficient in the offense against bad teams. But when he played the good teams, it's not even close to what it was. I mean, he wasn't even close to being the same quarterback. And to be fair, I don't expect you to look like the way he looked against Grambling. I don't expect you to look like, against Miami, the way that you did against Grambling or Indiana. Like, those are legit teams with NFL talent all over the place. Like, I get you're not going to look as dominant, but you should still look like you were in control of the offense. I don't think Ohio State ever looked in control of the offense against Indiana. They never looked like they were in control of that offense against Miami. And, it was a very underwhelming wrap up to the season last year, considering they went 12-0. They were undefeated. They got to the Big Ten championship game. And they lost in the Big Ten championship game. They were out-muscled and out-finessed by Indiana, which that's a good team. It's an undefeated national championship team, but like they showed they were better than Ohio State. Miami showed they were better than Ohio State. And when you look at the schedule for Ohio State this season, when you look at the fact that you have to play at Texas, that you have to play at Indiana, at USC, Oregon, and Michigan, I'm sorry, but if Julian Sayin isn't who you are saying he is, this could be this year's Texas team. Texas, I thought, should have made the playoffs last year. They missed the playoffs because they played Ohio State. They didn't miss the playoffs because they lost 2 games in SEC play. They missed the playoffs because they lost to Ohio State early in the season. If Ohio State loses to Texas early and Julian said, because that's the thing I'm worried about. What if he doesn't look great against Texas and they lose to Texas? You could say, well, it's Texas. You're on the road. It's at night. You can make all those excuses, but let's not act like all the naysayers and the doubters out there aren't going to start coming out a little bit, me included. If Julian Sayin plays great and Ohio State loses, okay, fine. But if Julian Sayin does not play well and you lose to Texas, now I'm going to start to get really uncomfortable, because now all of last season, you didn't play well against good teams. And now right off the bat, the first good team you play, you lose. How am I supposed to feel confident that this team can go on the road to beat Indiana, to beat USC, to beat Dante Moore in Oregon? Now, you at least have Oregon at home, and Michigan at home. You at least have those things going for you. But like I said, Julian Sayin, I mean, he's getting a ton of praise and a ton of hype, and maybe rightfully so. But I do think it's a big deal that he looked as poor as he did against those good teams last year. I do think that's a big deal. And until I see that he could do what he does against Grambling and Purdue and the bad teams, that if he could do what he does against them and at least do a fraction of that against the good teams, then all this goes away. And then we're just talking about, can't wait for the Big Ten championship game. Can't wait for those Big 5 premier matchups. Can't wait for the playoffs, this, that, and the other. But man, Ohio State's going to have a major problem if Julian Sayin is not who you think he is. Who I hope he is. You guys think he's X, Y, and Z. I hope he's X, Y, and Z. I hope he's what you say he is. But you have Heather Dinich, who's going to join us next week. When I come back, she's going to be on with us next week. I'm excited to chat with her about all of this too. But she looks at Jeremiah Smith as being a legit Heisman contender. But man, there's one of 2 reasons why Jeremiah Smith won't actually be winning that Heisman. It's because, well, for him to have a big season, Julian Sayin's having a big season, and he's going to be in contention to win the Heisman or actually win it. Or Julian Sayin is not what we thought he was and going to come up short in a lot of those big games. Keep in mind, Ohio State didn't play in really, last regular season, I have no problem saying this. I hated last regular season. I thought it was horrifically boring. I love the fact that they kicked off the season at Texas. That was great. And I remember the hype for that game. That was great. We did not feel that again until November. late August, early September, can't wait for Texas. And then it was all of September, all of October, and all of November before we got to the next game that actually mattered and it wasn't Ohio State's fault, but Penn State, they sucked. They fired their coach a month into the season. Like there was nothing there. And even Michigan, that was the storied rivalry and they had to end that losing streak, but Michigan, they stunk too. So, and then when you finally play a good team in Indiana, it looked like you played a good team. You played Miami, looked like you played a good team. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I think there's a ton more pressure on Julian Sain. I think I have a lot more question marks about him than a lot of people do. And I'm surprised at that. I'm surprised that there's not more people doubting or questioning Julian Sain. And, a lot of you like to point out how wrong I am all the time. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't think it's not that I think he's bad. I need to see it. I need to see him play well. I need to see him look like a veteran quarterback against Texas. I need to see it. I need to see it against USC on the road at Indiana. It's going to matter. This season, though, like I said, last year was so boring. I thought the season was so boring last year. That's not going to be the case this year. Big time premier matchups at Texas, at Indiana, at USC, Oregon at home, Michigan, and the Illinois game. I'm jacked for this season. This is going to be a fun season. This is the type of schedule for years. That's why I would watch Ohio State go through the Big Ten, and I'm like, there's maybe one or two teams that could put up any resistance to Ohio State on a year in, year out basis in the Big Ten. Outside of that, the rest of the conference stinks. I don't fear anyone in the conference, but yet you guys are trying to tell me the Big Ten is so damn great. Now I feel like the Big Ten is great. There are actual roadblocks in the Big Ten that Ohio State has to get through. You have to, and Michigan proved to be that for a while, although they cheated and had a lot of scandals but they are well coached now. So that's going to play a role too, but you have to get through Michigan, of course. USC, Ohio State's a better program than them, but you still have to get through them. Oregon, right? And Indiana, the fact that Kevin and I were talking about this earlier today, he's talking about going to that game and looking at tickets for that. Ohio State, Indiana, for that ticket to be as expensive as it is, at Indiana. I have friends, and I've done this. So many people have told me that they actually go every time Ohio State has played at Indiana in the past. That's that more fans go to watch Ohio State at Indiana because the ticket was cheaper to go watch Ohio State at Indiana than getting a home ticket for Ohio State at the Shoe. And now that's probably going to be one of the most expensive tickets in all of college football this year. I'm excited to watch big games, where Indiana plays. For Indiana to host big games like that, that's going to be huge. There's just fresh blood in college football, and I like it. But I think for all of Ohio State's hype is predicated around Julian Sain. And I'm like, man, I watched Julian Sain last year in big games, and he did not show up big. Wasn't good against Texas, was not good against Michigan, was not good against Indiana, and sure as hell was not good against Miami. Yes, the offensive line didn't help, but are we sure that the offensive line is significantly better? There's always going to be a reason that we say it. At the end of the day, Julian Sain, the offensive line, it's not like that was a great offensive line for Will Howard. And Will Howard, to his credit, I was critical of Will Howard early. I wasn't a big fan of the way he played in the regular season. I thought he was reckless at times. I thought he turned the ball over at weird moments of the game. There was just something about Will Howard I didn't truly connect with early on. And then the playoffs came. And my God, he lit up every single one of those top defenses. He lit them up. It was horrible against Michigan. I had no faith and confidence in Will Howard heading, after that Michigan game, or Ohio State in general after that Michigan game. But he lit up Tennessee's defense. That's fine. Tennessee's defense has been known to give up, some big plays throughout the season, but I love the way that they rebounded. Will Howard then diced up Oregon's defense that kept him in check earlier. Diced up Texas and diced up Notre Dame. So that's, it's easy to say, well, I want to see my quarterback dice up good defenses. I don't think that's crazy to ask for, though. We've seen it. And it's going to have to be done if Ohio State is going to be in contention for a national championship. That's a hell of a schedule. At Texas, at Indiana, at USC, Oregon, and Michigan at home. That's a tough schedule. You got Nebraska on there. You got Illinois on there. Those aren't like, oh, my God, I fear those teams. But you can't overlook those teams either. There's going to be some resistance there. I'm excited for the college football season to get here. I'm excited for Buckeye football. It'll be here before you know it. About a month. We got NFL preseason on Thursday. 2 days, 2 nights. How about that? I think I saw was it Pickett? Kenny Pickett? He's gonna be he's gonna play on Thursday night. How about that? Who cares? No one's gonna know any of those names. I just can't wait to have football on the screen. We're a couple weeks away from high school football. As I mentioned on yesterday's show, we're excited to have high school football back right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Our game of the week, we're actually going to kick off the season with the Battle of Kettering on the 20th. So that's coming up around the corner. I mean, we've been carrying high school football for quite some time, and we've opened up every season with the Battle of Kettering, and we're doing it again for our 11th straight season. So excited about that coming up here. August is here. High school football is almost here. College football camp's underway. We heard from Paul Keels earlier. We got a lot going on. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Frickers. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Michael, your service manager at Dave Arbogast Buick GMC in Troy, Ohio. I am inviting you to give us an opportunity to earn your business. We have expanded our hours to better meet your needs. We are now open until 6 p.m. during the week and 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturdays. We service all makes and models. We offer convenient shuttle service as well as pickup and delivery. Please visit us on the web at arbogastbuickgmc.com or in person. Exit 69 on I-75. Look for the giant American flag. I hope to see you soon.
Upgrade to a new quality bath remodel in less time with minimal inconvenience and for less money with Bath Creations in as little as 2 days. We do it right. There are a lot of others boasting about bath remodels these days. Well, Bath Creations' expert craftsmanship and customer service speaks for itself. Plus, all first responders, veterans, and active military will save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit our beautiful showroom at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton or at mybathcreations.com and upgrade your new bath today.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. But wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state, only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
You know, I used to think all money managers were the same until I spoke with Fisher Investments.
Really? How different are they?
Fisher's investment counselors are dedicated to service, not sales, keeping clients up to date on their portfolio.
Well, they probably just invest in a bunch of mutual funds like I do.
Nope. They build a tailored portfolio based on their clients' personal goals, helping them stay on track for a comfortable retirement.
Well, they must make commissions selling products.
Actually, Fisher doesn't sell any commission-based products. They're a fiduciary, and they believe that's a conflict.
Then they have some kind of complex fee structure.
Nope. Fisher has a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of their client's portfolio. So they do better when their clients do better.
It sounds like Fisher really is different.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Fisher Investments, clearly different wealth management. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin, thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Experience the new $3 Pepper Jack Steak Burrito in Decadent Melty or Crisp Fresca. Limited time at participating stores while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. Let's all give them room to work. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Are you involved with a school or charitable fundraiser that holds an auction, bid and buy booth, or a raffle to raise money? Many of the most popular items at auctions or booths are autographed sports memorabilia items. How can you get great items in your event? Call Adam Walter at Sports Investments. Sports Investments has a consignment program for fundraisers that has provided outstanding items. You select items that are proven sellers, including autographed pieces from Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Big Red Machine, the Bengals, the Browns, UC, XU, UK, NKU, Dayton, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. Sports Investments consigns the items to your group at a highly discounted price. And when they sell, you keep the profit. You don't pay anything in advance. And if something doesn't sell, you simply return it. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email Adam at sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris is now hiring and has increased the hourly wage of $22.48. That's right. KTH is looking for elite production associates, including press operators, overhead crane operators, and forklift operators. Apply today. KTH offers excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and 401k. KTH is a short drive from Bellefonte, Troy, Piqua, and Urbana. Upgrade your career and be valued by a company that really cares about you. Apply now at kth.net, an equal opportunity employer.
Progressive presents Perfectly Bad Excuses for Missing Stuff to Spend More Time on Your Motorcycle.
Hey, Suze, can't make it to your party. Gotta defrost some chicken. There's tenders, boneless thighs. Gotta keep an eye on it.
Now that was a bad excuse. If you love your vehicle this much, get customized coverage from Progressive America.